This is the Expired Podcast by Macy Bookout and Natalie Gard, Chattanooga-based crime cast. This week's episode is on Holly Bobo.
I see, honestly, most of it's been parents of kids who play sports with my kids.
What do they say?
They like it.
Really?
Yeah, a lot.
Good.
Yeah. So
that makes me feel good.
I think our approach and everything is really good, and I think people like that it's local stuff. But I feel like because we actually spend so much time just shooting the shit and it's fun. And then sometimes I see something and I'm like, oh my god, me and Natalie need to talk about this, but then I'm like, it has nothing to do with the case. So I don't know, we should try. And
do you not have fake nails on?
Mm-mm. I don't. I pulled them off.
I don't either.
Because I wanted to clip because it was my real nails, but they're so weak that I was I just took the dip powder off and cut them.
Yeah.
But I've got to go get them done tomorrow because I can't stop fighting.
Oh, that's my problem. That's why they look like hot dog fingers.
Yeah, same. It's so bad.
I bought this new kit off Amazon, and I just got it in today to do my own at home.
I did that during quarantine.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Was it bad? I'm hoping I can do it.
There's a reason people go to school for that.
My hairdresser told me yesterday, she was like,
neither of us did.
failed that portion of the exam. And I was like, you're not making me feel good about my purchase right now.
I feel like it would be, honestly, you know how OCD I am and stuff. Very particular.
I'm not. My nails can look like shit and I'm totally fine with it.
I think it would be easier to do someone else's nails than my own.
Yeah.
But also, how about you? You just go on that journey on your own. I will bring you all of the things that I have.
Okay. I'll do it.
And we will update the people.
Okay, as it goes.
Yeah.
I'm going to do them before Lizzo on Friday. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm going to do something.
That's when I just go to Walgreens, get press-ons and super glue.
Press-ons just pop off so easy.
So you have to get really good nail glue. And
I think I'm too rough.
Oh, sis, so am I. But I keep the nail glue in my purse.
That's what I do, but then I'm constantly putting on the nail glue.
Same.
That's why I bought the acrylic stuff.
Yeah, you're
yeah. For a rude awakening.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
How about you just go get your nails done for your own birthday?
Because I got my hair done for my birthday. I'm not willing to spend that much because I'm a cheapo.
What if we go, because I need to go to the nail place tomorrow before that 8th grade night thingy. What if we go together and that will be your birthday gift?
Okay. Well, you already got me a birthday gift.
Kinda.
Is this more office write-off gift?
No, it was just, I was like, we've been doing this for a minute. We ain't got new shit yet. So I was like, ooh. Pink for Natalie, purple for me.
I love it.
It's an expired gift.
I love it. So we got a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
A bucket for pens and miscellaneous.
You know how I am about my pens.
You love a pen, and it's got pencil, marker, highlighter.
Colored pencils.
All the things.
With erasers.
A pink and purple matching notebook folder.
Because we're twins.
Hard.
Yay.
Look at Macy's and look at mine. Clean. And then millions of pages because I haven't broken into mine, and a basket full of blankets. I mean,
I know you love blankets.
I love a blanket.
They have really good pillows there too
At Pop Shelf.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never been to a Pop Shelf, you should seriously sponsor the Expired Podcast because I love Pop Shelf.
I'm for it. I might actually use my blanket right now.
Oh yes,
because it's chilly in here.
It is chilly. These are good.
Oh yeah, and they're $10 a piece. Normally they're $40.
I love Pop Shelf. These are good.
Warm and snuggly.
Why are you laughing?
Because, well, I feel like I haven't seen you forever.
Well, yeah, you were off last week.
I'm taking my shoes off.
Take them off.
Take them off.
Take it all off. Last week's case was wild.
Yeah,
I know you listened.
I did. That was crazy.
So, Want to comment on anything? And we'll get into this week's case.
No, I just can't. The one thing I'm going to say is that I cannot believe that people don't know his name like we know other, like the Ted Bundys and the
Zodiac and the Golden State. Like,
it's crazy.
I know.
And I wonder why that is. Why do you think that is?
It could be because he used 2 different last names.
Yeah.
It could be because he got away with it for so long and moved around so long. He was so transient.
So, where it wasn't like a year where people were like afraid and like, you know, the Ted Bundy, it was like girls in the school like knew.
Yeah. He
not
didn't
have a walking buddy and stuff.
And his victims were like very like in dangerous situations as it was. They were, you know, sex workers, or they were.
It's the like forgotten victims type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he picked perfect victims that wouldn't be in the times. There weren't good anyway.
Well, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks for holding the fort down. Last thing I'm gonna say before we start is, you know how I don't like wearing my hair down because it gets on my nerves, and when I wear it up, it's so long and heavy that it gives me a headache. I will forever wear a clip in my hair.
Have you discovered clips? You love a clip?
It's been in a clip for almost a week now. And
you just gotta be careful when you lay your head back, or you lay your head back in the Jeep. That's the only thing.
No, can't do that.
Thing.
And I like it because it's so easy to do. But also, like, for softball, like, and wrestling, like coaching, it's so easy. And I don't have, like, it doesn't give me a headache.
Yeah.
When I'm already, like, standing and basically, like, full-fledged workout all day long. Oh, it's so great. So, also, hair clip companies.
Clips.
We need some hair clips.
Clips.
Okay.
Clips are great.
Should we sound check?
Soundtrack?
Sound check.
Oh, I already did.
Okay. Sweet. Hopefully you sound good.
Yeah, we sound great.
Is it just me or is that like bleepy?
It's always bleepy.
Really?
Yeah. Should we turn it off?
No.
It's always bleepy.
I think I'm noticing it more because it's not dark outside because the time change.
Yeah.
Look at us.
I know. Okay. So we've gotten many requests for Holly Bobo. She's very a well-known name, especially in Tennessee. This is more West Tennessee, kind of close to Kentucky, between like, it's like Holly Bobo, Memphis, Kentucky. And she...
Wait, Memphis, Holly Bobo, Kentucky.
Okay.
Memphis is southwest.
Yeah, south of Holly.
She is northwest.
Okay, but she's on the west side of Tennessee.
I feel like that's the part of Tennessee that like all, like 90% of Tennesseans have never been.
Yeah, no, I've never been over there.
No.
So that's why I'm like so confused. I just know she's on the west side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Memphis, sure. Northwest, no one goes there.
No one knows. And it's a small town where she's from. We have like 3 different names of the town just because it's so like rural.
I think it's referred to by like a couple of things.
Yeah.
It's not just like
Decatur County, Darden, Tennessee, and Parsons, Tennessee. Now this is in April of 2011. So let's paint a picture of Holly and her family. Typical, very small town, so very rural. Your neighbors aren't going to be a stone throw away.
Yeah.
She lives with her mom, Karen, her dad, Dana, and her brother, Clint. Her brother's older. Just very rural, like just outside kid, hunter.
She
goes
beautiful.
to church. She's beautiful. Blonde. Stunning. Could be a pageant kid. Like, I felt like she looked like John Bonet.
Yeah. Like, I'm talking the girl that's got the great hair, a great smile, pretty eyes, looks like a doll.
Yeah.
And almost one of those people, like, you just look at them like, how are you that?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Pretty.
Yeah, just so pretty. Like, naturally beautiful. But also, like, not like super, she wasn't, like, super loud and, like,
kind of shy.
Yeah, like a quiet, almost more introverted, but just, I mean, she looked like a Barbie doll.
Yeah, she did.
Really.
Grew up hunting, riding horses, being outside. She had a brother, so that says a lot. You grew up with a brother, right?
Yes, I did. Surprised we both survived.
That's funny.
From each other, I mean.
Yeah.
With these cases, I'm surprised any of us survived.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
She just kind of grew up in a small town, but was like really genuine.
Mm-hmm.
She knew what she wanted to do. She was loving and funny and silly, and she wanted to be a nurse.
Yeah.
And
very, very serious student.
Yeah.
Like, she took school really seriously,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm glad, because she was in nursing school.
Yeah, she was.
I don't think nurses, I think all nurses take school very seriously. I don't think it's easy by any means.
100%. Dealing with people like that it's got to be a tough job, and you got to really have a passion for it. And our friends and family said that she 100% did.
Mm-hmm.
She just seemed like all American, good girl, you know,
ready to kind of start her
grown-up
life.
Yeah. She was 20 years old as of April 13th, 2011. She was in a pretty serious relationship. She had been dating her boyfriend, Drew, for about 2 years. By all of her friends' accounts, they were, like, really a sweet couple, like, very much in love.
Yeah, pretty solid relationship.
Very solid. She had recently gotten a promise ring, like, just very committed, no cross words between each other, like, just a really good relationship, it seemed.
Yeah, and I think based off of things in the case that we'll get into later, I am also under the impression that, like, her family really liked him and, like, approved of this relationship as well. So really, like, no red flags.
Yeah.
At all. Just a normal young couple.
Mm-hmm.
Both obviously hardworking, good people, just ready to move up in life with each other.
Yeah. Just starting out. Seeing where, you know, I think that's how it all starts out. You know, when you're a 20-something in Tennessee, you just, it goes, you know.
Facts. I feel like we haven't really ever, like, we've talked about a lot of different relationships.
Mm.
Usually our victims are the females.
Mm-hmm.
And rarely, if ever, is the boyfriend or the person they're dating or their partner the person who actually committed the crime.
Yeah.
But I'm very interested. I feel like we should look into how this affects the partner in the relationship moving forward, because based on my memory, all of the serious relationships that were, for the most part, not toxic or, you know, terrible or anything, they were, like, about to get married, probably were going to get married, soon to probably be engaged, fairly young. I can't imagine, like,
high trauma.
And no disrespect at all, but I truly believe that would affect a male a lot more than it would affect a female from a length perspective.
I could see that.
Like, I think it would scare a male away from a relationship or getting serious or anything, like, for a lot longer. You know?
Yeah.
We should look into that.
We should.
Because I feel like we always leave these cases too, like, I'm like, dang, can you imagine?
Like, where are they now?
Yeah, and, like, losing your best friend and, like, no matter what at the time is the love of your life, and in this, like, brutal way.
And how do you move on?
Yeah.
We should look into that. Maybe we'll do an episode on that or something.
We should.
We should. So, April 13th, 2011. It's a normal day. So, Holly was going to school at UT Martin, and she was going to nursing school. She was preparing for an exam. She was getting ready. She normally left the house about like 7:30. And both of her parents had left the house already. About 7:40 a.m. on this day, she is getting ready to leave, and a neighbor actually calls the police at this time and just reports hearing cats fighting or some kind of commotion,
screeching.
Something is not right. And this is a rural neighbor. I mean, it's not like a stone's throw away. It's, a little bit further. And about the same time, Clint, who is Holly's brother, hears the dogs barking and hears this commotion outside. He's actually supposed to be in class this day. He's also in college, but his class got canceled. So he is sleeping in. He wakes up from hearing this commotion outside. He looks outside through the blinds and sees his sister Holly talking to this man in camo. He initially thinks, oh, that's obviously Drew. Drew hunts.
He was actually supposed to be
hunting that day.
Yeah, he had called her dad that morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
To make sure. So apparently her grandmother or grandparents owned some land.
Mm-hmm.
And he had called her dad or mom to make sure that it was okay that he went hunting on said land. I'm sure, had talked about it before, and he was just like triple checking before he went. Which, if you're not from the South or like where people hunt, that is a very common thing to do. If you are leasing land to hunt, that's different. But if someone says, hey, you can go hunt my land or whatever, like, you literally triple check, because you don't want to be out there hunting at the same time that, say, the landowners are going to be out there hunting, because accidents happen. So,
or, that person could have said, yeah, go hunt anytime you want, and 10 people are out there or whatever.
Exactly. And then there's other people on the land. Yeah, it's just a matter of like making sure that you know who's on your property and you know who is on or not on the property that you're asking or borrowing for the day, whatever. So,
and that would later come up, because Drew's final alibi would be some of Holly's family, because they saw him there. So initially Clint thought that Holly was in the driveway talking to Drew. This man he sees is a white man, darker hair, dressed in all camo, talking to Holly, maybe arguing, maybe breaking up. It just seemed not a typical Holly and Drew situation.
I think at first, because the guy was in camo and stuff, and because they were in, the person or the man and Holly were in such like close quarters, he was just like, yeah, that's him. It's fine. And then he basically goes away from the window and hears her like scream or shout, no, why? And so then he is thinking like, they're like, he's breaking up with her.
Something's amiss.
Yeah, like it's just not normal. And I think this is when he kind of really gets like the feeling like
perks up.
Yeah, like, this doesn't, gets that feeling like something ain't right. And I also feel like at this point, he was probably fully awake. Yeah. Because at first, he had just woken up. So I feel like now his brain's actually running on like all cylinders. Yeah.
And he sees this man in camo leading his sister out into the woods of their property. And this is the last time anyone would see Holly alive. So he's really getting the red flags up. And so he decides, I'm going to call Mom. Just see what she knows. So he calls his mom and says, hey, I just saw Holly and Drew. Is Drew supposed to be here? Holly's supposed to be going to school? Yeah. Like, what's the deal? And Karen is like, no, I just got off the phone with him. He's supposed to be at
Grandma's
Bobo
house.
family land.
Yeah, hunting. That's
not him. So he hangs up. He's trying to figure out who this is.
Yeah, like at this point, he's still very, in his mind, very sure that this is true.
It's true. It's totally true.
Yeah.
So while all of this is happening, Karen, the mom, gets a phone call from their neighbor who had called the police and said that they had heard some weird screams, like something was off. And then Clint, the brother, calls back and says, like, no, are you sure Drew is at our land?
Yes.
He's not here.
Because I swear this is Drew.
Because they just walked into the woods. Are you sure they're not maybe hunting here or doing something here? Like,
yep.
It was just a lot of confusion at first. And Karen is like, absolutely not. Go outside and shoot the guy.
Yeah, she's like, that's not him.
And Clint is like, dude, Mom, you're being...
Right, like, you're being crazy. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and Clint's like, no, I'm not doing it. And so they all are, like, flooding 911 at this point. Mm-hmm. And flooding, family and friends, and everyone is heading, or about to head to the Bobo home.
Yeah. I also think at this point, too, the neighbors kind of, like, got wind that nothing was adding up. Mm-hmm. And then the mom ends up actually calling 911. Mm-hmm. And did you hear the call?
Oh, gosh. She knew right away.
Yeah. Remember? We talked about it. That intuition thing, I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
And if you think you need to call 911, call.
Yep.
Somebody has my daughter.
Okay.
Please get there now.
So police arrived soon thereafter, and in the carport near her car, where she was going to head to nursing school, they found blood, and they found a significant amount, like an apple-sized amount, and then several, like, droplets.
Yeah, it was like a weird pattern. It wasn't like a big puddle or anything, and it wasn't like a long trail.
It wasn't like splattered. It was
kind of odd.
Yeah.
It was like it was enough to not be able to figure out who, what, when, where, why, how.
Yeah.
Like if you like slice your hand open, you're gonna know that that's kind of what the blood trail is. If it's a puddle, you're gonna know it's a puddle. It's weird. I found it the amount and just how it was like.
Yeah. You know what I wonder? Now that we're just talking about it, I wonder if the suspect, like, hit her, droplets, she went to hold her nose and push her down, and then the apple
was like from her palm.
From her palm.
That's not a miss. Like that makes sense.
Wouldn't it?
And the way it looked was like that too. Mm-hmm. Almost like, I don't know, but that definitely makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, interesting. We should post the picture
I'll post
of the blood evidence, because that sounds very realistic.
So when PD arrives, it's a crazy scene, and I want to note that this is Tennessee's most expensive search, which is
most expensive missing persons investigation in the history of the state.
I know.
That's saying a lot, being, for the most part, up until the last 20 years, a very rural state. Mm-hmm. With big cities that have a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Like, that's... At one point, the reward was like $85,000.
Mm-hmm. It got up to like $200,000, $250,000. I mean, it was wild.
Yeah.
So, I believe it was 2 hours after the initial call, the search began. Mm-hmm. And it was huge. I mean, this girl was loved beyond. It was 24 hours before they found their first piece of evidence, like physical evidence, when it comes to her. They found her lunchbox.
I will say, too, they had, they had manpower, they had helicopters, they had dogs in the first few hours.
And they had very
That says a
little
lot.
GPS tracking from not a smartphone.
Right. Yeah.
Which is
given
vague.
the year that it was,
Mhm.
2011, but also the geographic location.
Mhm.
But the fact that they had like manpower, dogs, and helicopters within hours.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're out searching, and a day later, they're able to find her lunchbox. A few hours later,
And her note cards for her test.
cards had her name, the date,
Address.
yeah, the stuff that she was supposed to be testing on that day. Just
Man.
like, her stuff for her school.
And she had talked to her dad too, and he had given her money for fuel.
Yeah, just stuff that would have been with her that morning
Yeah.
was found about 24 hours after. Now, all while they're searching, PD, they had assumed, they had theories that there was this logging road, like a dirt road, about 300 yards from the Bobo residence. And like I said, neighbors were not close in any means.
Right.
And the same neighbor who had called police reporting that they had heard cat screams or some kind of commotion also called back and reported that they had seen a white pickup truck hauling ass down this logging road.
Yep.
And another person had called in about this white pickup truck on this logging road. And so they wanted to just kind of keep that in the...
What do they call it when they put a thing out?
Bolo?
Maybe. But about the white truck, like, that was kind of the first piece of evidence or like idea or like consistent thing that was not just this guy in camo.
Yeah.
Was the white truck.
Yeah, the white truck.
And the speed they were going and just kind of like the craziness of that white truck.
Yeah.
It clearly stuck out to a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. So keep that in mind. So while the search is going on, while tips are coming in, they start to look at suspects. Now, they always look at the last person to see the victim, which was Clint, her brother.
Yep.
He wasn't supposed to be there that day. But no real accounts of like any kind of
Foul play or
Yeah.
like a reason for something crazy to have happened between them.
Yeah.
Then they also obviously look to the boyfriend because
Always you look at the partner.
yeah, I mean that's the case. Even kids like young, like high school, it's like the best friend. You know what I mean? It's always the person that's closest. Besides the person that saw them last. And sometimes that's the same person. Anyhow, I think everything that they could possibly look into obviously panned out, and it was also made very clear very early that it was not Drew, her boyfriend. That he was not able to do that, didn't have motive, reason. There was nothing at all besides the fact that he was her boyfriend. So that idea passed by very quickly. Then we get into like a whole ass mess of suspects. Like,
so many suspects.
this
For
might
such a
be the
small
most.
town.
This case might be the most suspects.
And probably the most people arrested.
And actually involved.
Yeah.
No.
And the
really
most
might be.
random victim tied to the most people involved.
For sure.
Like, there's not, like, a clear
true
time.
connection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
none.
For sure.
It's weird.
It is very
So,
weird.
while they're trying to ping the phone, tie people, search for her, all the things, they come across all these different people. They look at Clint. They look at Drew, her boyfriend. They look at, is there anyone that might hurt her? Is there anyone in this area that might have a white pickup truck that is into bad things?
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of names come up. Several names come up.
I think the first one, besides like her brother, her boyfriend, you've got the Terry Britt guy who was like, who lived in the area. He was also a sex offender and
a stalker.
Had like proven history of stalking not just people or not even just females, young blonde females.
Yeah.
So
MO.
100%.
Yeah.
He says that he was shopping with his wife for a bathtub.
Used. At a salvage yard. He had a written receipt for a used bathtub. And people at the salvage yard saw him.
Listen, we talked about this.
That is gross.
Mattresses, bathtubs, hell, even toilets. Like, there are just certain things like...
You buy new.
Yeah, I mean, I get if it's like an antique, like clawfoot tub or something, but like, just a regular old bathtub.
Yeah.
Probably not.
No.
Probably not gonna do that.
Yeah, no.
Like, I'd rather just get like a 5-gallon bucket or like a drum.
Yeah.
You
or like
know?
one of those cow water thing.
A trough?
Yeah, a trough.
Yeah, like, no, I'm not.
I mean, we can't judge.
I'd just rather
Parsons,
stand up
Tennessee.
naked and outside than
Yeah.
get in a used bathtub.
We all live
Although, hotels are no different.
yeah, that's
You know,
true.
I mean, so
Whatever.
maybe swallowing my words on that one, but either way, it's still weird.
It's weird.
And even though they had a receipt, I will also say that the people said they remembered them in there, but there was no record in their computer system.
Yeah. But it's a salvage yard, so
And
written receipts maybe. Like, my dad owns a pawn shop, and in 2011, I'm sure he had a computer system, so maybe.
it could
maybe
go
not.
either way.
It could go either way.
Especially
I see
in
where you're getting
rural
at.
parts.
Mhm.
Like, you could do paper stuff, you
Yeah.
could do computer. Like, it really depends on the mood that the owner's in that day.
Yeah.
And also how you're paying.
Mm-hmm. Paying cash or card or whatever.
Yes. But also, crap, what was I going to say? We've done this 4 times today.
Seriously?
Losing our train of thought.
Salvage yard, buying.
I don't know. It
Business
wasn't that
owner.
important.
Okay.
If I think of it, I'll mention it later.
So the brother, they cross him off the list.
Mhm.
The boyfriend, they cross him off the list.
Yep.
Terry Britt, they cross him off the list. Then they come up with just different people that may have, had trouble with her, or may have had a certain interest in her,
Or knew her.
They talked to Holly's friends and family, and asked, is there anything weird that's happened lately?
Okay, what you're about to say, tell the story, because I didn't even know about this, and I find this very interesting.
So there was like a coon hunt, a couple weeks before she went missing. And so Holly and Drew went on a double date with her friend and her friend's boyfriend. And the friend mentions to police that this guy named Shane, she remembers seeing Shane at this coon hunt. And she would see Shane like staring at Holly, and then they would like move on to a different part of the area, and Shane would be there again staring at Holly.
Mm-hmm.
And she noticed it a couple of times and thought it was odd. It's something small like that.
It is odd.
It's something small like that clears murderers.
Yeah.
That answers questions.
Yeah.
That solves murders.
You know what's so weird too? So like say you're driving down the road, or you're in a store and you see something or someone, or whatever, and like all of a sudden you get like a weird vibe, like weird energy, right? Do you automatically like look at what time it is?
No, but I make a mental note of like
what they're wearing,
any like specifics.
Yeah,
like I'll try to
I feel this
remember
way?
3 numbers of their license plate, or
Yes.
like the color of their shirt, hair, and eyes.
Yes.
Or
I'm big on like the time of day too, because I'm like, okay, if in the next few days on the news or the radio or whatever, it's like if you have information or this happened here, then I'm like, oh shoot, I was driving down this road and I saw this at this time. Like, I want to be able to know, matter of fact, when I call, that I'm not wasting their time, you know? Even if it could be nothing that I saw. But I'm just like, anything that gives me like weird vibes, I'm like, yep, writing that down.
Yeah.
Keeping note of that. That's so weird.
I usually, if I'm going to
We do
remember...
a true crime podcast.
Yeah, no, seriously. If I need to remember something like that, I'll base it off of when I was texting someone.
Yes.
Like
what
if
conversations I was having.
Texting you, I'll know I was at Walmart at this time.
Yes.
Or at home or whatever.
We need to just start like texting each other.
Like code words.
Hey, by the way, this weird vibe happened.
This weird vibe happened. Walmart, blue shirt, red hair.
Yeah. Why they got red hair though? Leave the gingers alone.
Because the red-headed ones, you never know with them. So, after all these people are kind of crossed off the list, there's nothing more to go on, this friend comes up with this guy named Shane. And his name is Shane Austin. And so they call him in, ask him about Holly Bobo, and ask him to take a polygraph. And he initially passes. Shane has some criminal background. He's into drugs. He kind of hangs out with the wrong crowd. He has some cousins, Dylan and Zach, that are also in the wrong crowd. And
probably not the best of people.
The whole community kind of knows
drugs.
that. Yeah. Meth is not good.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do meth.
Any, like, hard drugs. Like,
Meth is bad.
Just meth. It's not
worth it.
It's not a good idea.
No.
It's not. It's never a good thing.
Yeah. But he initially passes it. So a couple of weeks before Holly went missing, this polygraph is done after the fact, and interviews are being taken, and nothing's coming up. Nothing.
At all.
At all.
They have yet to find anything beyond the few personal items that they found.
Yeah.
They still have yet to even be able to locate her person, alive or not. Nothing at all. Very. For such a small town, the fact that it took this, there's not a lot of area, you know? It's kind of wild.
It is.
It's kind of a bunch of dead ends at this point.
Yeah. And then
meth.
And dead ends and meth. That's how it goes.
That's the title of this episode.
Okay.
I'm messing.
I always
but
name all of our episodes after our victims. That's how
you do.
Yeah. Yeah. So by 2013, they get a huge break in the case when all of a sudden Shane Austin's cousin, the brother of Zach, is picked up on unrelated charges.
Yeah.
And he just spills the beans.
Yeah. Literally
spills
picked
the
up
beans
on completely separate charges.
Nothing to do with Bobo.
From what I remember, they were kind of serious charges, but like by no means were they like murder, rape, kidnapping. Not that level, right? Like this is like different stuff. He is the younger brother in this situation,
and he gives younger brother energy.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like he just lost his damn mind. It's like he had been waiting to
Yeah.
get arrested.
It seems like he had a super guilty conscience and was just like, literally waiting.
I strongly believe, too, that he was very much so sick and tired of being under his brother's control,
Mhm.
in fear of his brother, influenced by his brother, overpowered
Yep.
by his brother.
Anything his brother did, he did. Good, bad, ugly.
And truth be told, I think he felt like he had to.
Probably.
And being on drugs definitely doesn't help.
Yeah.
So he just straight up, like, he's picked up on something completely unrelated.
And he's like, I want to confess to the Bobo case.
Straight up lays it all out there.
Yeah.
With like, there was no reward for that.
And no prompting, really.
No, it was
It
just
was
he was just
weird.
over it. He was drowning.
Yeah.
I think. But he claims that himself, his brother Zachary, and Jason,
Mhm.
who that was their cousin, raped Holly, and then the last thing he saw was Zachary and Jason basically taking her body away
Mhm.
to pretty much just get rid of it. He also claims that Zachary, his brother, videoed the rape and anything else that they did to her while she was alive.
Mhm.
What? Okay, see, that's when I'm like, yeah, you can't blame drugs.
What do you mean?
If he videoed it, like, you can't just be
But
like,
you've
oh,
never been in
I
the
was-
mind of a
I was
meth
high
head.
on meth. But that's a different kind of monster.
You've never been a meth head.
No, I hope I truth be told, I will never be a meth head. But
But we don't think like meth heads, so we would never know.
like, think about our case from a couple weeks ago, right? There was meth involved.
Mhm.
Our victim had a
History of
history of
drugs.
drug use. They didn't video anything. That, well, from our theories, who we
Right.
think
Right?
was involved, there had been talk about videoing it and then
Yeah.
like sending the video to people.
That's true.
That's a whole different kind of level of like
Evil, nasty,
monster.
awful.
Yeah, of like predator. Oh, I
Um,
don't know. Oh gosh.
I don't know.
This
So
is why we can't sleep on Thursday nights.
I know.
Anyways.
So
Then in March of
where are we at?
So in September of 2013.
Okay,
Dylan
Dylan's
confesses.
arrested and confesses.
Yeah. Then March of 2014, Zachary Adams' brother is indicted on kidnapping and murder charges.
Right.
Then in April, just a month later, Jason Autry, the cousin, is also indicted on kidnapping and murder charges.
Right.
The exact same charges as Zachary.
Mm-hmm. He sits for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and he later flips.
So wait, Jason is not their cousin.
Jason is the cousin.
Okay, so then Shane,
No.
Shane is the cousin.
Shane is the cousin. Jason is the friend.
Yes.
So Zach calls Jason. The day this happens, Zach, Dylan, and Shane are at their house with Holly. Zach calls Jason and is like, hey, I need you to come over and help me. When Jason arrives, he realizes, oh shit, there's a body here. And Zach is like, can you help me get rid of it? Jason assumes it's someone who owes money to Zach for meth or drugs
Whatever,
or
yeah.
whatever. He's like, okay, whatever, let's go. Let's gut this person because we're going to put him in the river so evidence is destroyed and
the
we have
fact
to
that
gut
they
them.
said we're gonna gut her
Gut.
so that her body will
Yeah.
sink is like
Disgusting.
she is not an animal.
I know. And they talked about her like she is.
That's what I mean. It's like,
Makes your skin crawl.
oh,
So, Jason and Zach, they go down to the Tennessee River And they are in this white pickup truck. Remember us talking about that. And they get this body out of the car where Zach is like, this is Holly Bobo.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason, when they're pulling her out, hears a groan from Holly. She's still alive. She's wrapped up in these blankets like a mummy.
Yeah.
And Jason goes, quote, "This bitch ain't dead yet." And at that point, Zach grabs his .38 revolver pistol and shoots her in the back of the head. They hear a boat coming. It spooks them. They put her back in the truck. Take off. Zach drops Jason off.
At home.
And...
See, that sounds like it ain't no big deal.
I know.
I'll drop you off at your house.
Yeah.
It's fine. What?
He later asks him, like, yo, bro, what happened with that whole thing? And he said, I dropped it off at Kelly's Ridge or something. Now, this is all according to Jason, who has flipped at this point to get a better deal.
Right.
So you have to take what he says
With a grain of salt.
with a grain of salt.
While also really investigating it.
Yeah. And it's still going on today. Like,
also, Shane, the one
mhm.
who was helped dispose of the body or
Spotted, stalking, watching her at the coon hunt.
was found dead.
Yeah, and he's the one, after the fact, when, like, police are looking at this case, he's the one who closely
Monitors.
matches the
description.
the description. So, Clint, the brother, is like, this guy's in all camo, but he's taller than the boyfriend and bigger, like,
He's
larger.
like 6 foot.
Yeah,
200
pounds. Where the boyfriend was a little bit smaller than that.
Right.
And he mostly looks like Shane.
Mm-hmm.
And after all this blows up is when
They find Shane dead.
dead.
From an apparent suicide.
Mm-hmm. No suicide note. It was never. I never read if it was like drug related,
Me either.
gunshot, like what if someone
He was
killed
just-
him.
He was found dead.
He
That's
was
like
found
literally the only details.
Yeah.
Then you've got, I mean, like, obviously we know, like, the main people involved, but then you go into, like, there's, like, 2 or 3 other people that were involved because they had this video. So,
Yeah.
just like Dylan said, that Zach, like, videoed them raping her or whatever. You have this lady named Sandra King who comes forward to police to say that a friend of hers named Jeffrey Piercy shows her a video of a girl who is like tied up and what she believes is happening is basically like sexual assault or rape, and she literally, based on just appearance, thinks that it is Holly Bobo, so she calls the cops. The guy ends up saying like it wasn't. She kind of sets him up, like she like calls him on a wire or whatever. I think he was able to like get away with having this video or whatever and like anything and everything he said, because he claimed to say that he thought that when she said Holly, he thought she was talking about his ex-wife who was also named Holly, and that it was like a tape of them like
Having sex.
yes.
Okay.
So there, but in fact, the video was never recovered. But apparently, this video made it through quite a few people because a lot of people were brought in and even charged with like evidence tampering or accessory after the fact or this or that or this or that. So, in my opinion, this video existed.
So I'm just reading this in my notes now. I have not read this. Dylan described to police what his brother Zach was wearing in this video. Camouflage shorts, a black t-shirt, and green Crocs. His report when Zach claimed to have a videotape of himself raping Holly Through this tape, he was never found, and Dylan's confession was later recanted under allegations he was coerced.
Mm-hmm.
His statement led to the arrest of Dylan, Zach, and Jason, and another man, Shane Austin.
Mm-hmm. And that's like exactly what the
Jeffrey
said
or the girl
was wearing or whatever. And like apparently in the video too, you could clearly see Zach in it. Yeah. So
right now, Jeffrey Pierce, his brother Mark, and this guy named Victor Dinsmore are accessories after the fact. Some drugs were exchanged for a gun. The gun just so happens to be a .32 revolver, which is the gun that killed Holly Bobo.
yeah, the guy traded it, and then years later, I think ultimately like guilt just ate him up, and he came forward and was like,
that he got rid of it in the Tennessee River.
and then showed him where it was or where he dumped it.
And now they're testing it for DNA and trajectory.
Not that he's not a criminal, but like, good on you, dude, for actually like coming forward. Even if it's you should have done it years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
and good for the girl coming forward too.
Yeah.
Sandra.
That would be scary.
That would be
very
terrifying
scary.
In a small town
with these kind of people. That clearly have no respect for life
at all.
So you've got like multiple people charged with rape, kidnapping, murder. Did multiple people charged with evidence tampering, accessory after the fact,
tampering with evidence,
all kinds of stuff.
So
like multiple people.
Yeah, in the beginning, when this case, came to fruition in like 16 or 17, Karen Bobo was amazing at trial when this first started. It was a 2-week trial, and she actually made Zachary Adams look her in the face 3 separate times. She had a prosecutor move out of the way. She said, "Can you move so I can see him?
Please scoot over."
And then she was like, "No, pick your head up because I want you to look at me." She did it 3 separate times.
No, she's
anyway
the real deal.
Real deal. So they asked for life. They took the death penalty off the table. He would have life with no possibility of parole. But with this new gun thing, he might get the death penalty in this case. Which, wow.
How do you feel about the death penalty?
I don't know.
Me either. It's very weird for me.
It is. Because I feel like you should probably sit there and rot. But then I'm like, but I'm paying you to sit there and rot.
And you're using oxygen.
Yeah.
But
I'm indifferent. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't even want to think about it. So,
either.
Zach is sitting in jail as we await more. His brother Dylan got 35 years. He got an Alfred plea, and you asked me about that.
Yeah.
So
I've never heard it. I knew what you were talking about when you explained it, but I've never heard it be referred to as an Alfred. I'm going to hear that 40 times in the next week.
Yeah. So it's pretty much
it's called an Alfred plea deal.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the first person to do it was named Alfred.
Yeah, probably. Okay. It's pretty much where you give all the info, but you can kind of like skip trial. You admit to everything, but you don't really have to admit to everything.
Yeah, on the record, you are not saying you're guilty.
Yeah.
But behind closed doors and off the record, you're saying I'm 100% guilty, and this is everything I know.
Yeah. So he got 35 years.
And then you're just charged with the max.
Of what?
Time.
Yeah.
Of whatever charge they decide to charge you with.
Mm-hmm.
You say off the record you're guilty, on the record you're not. You do your time, you go home.
Uh-huh.
And you don't collect $100.
Yeah, and he gets no parole. So after 35 years, so this is 2016, 2017, he'll probably be in his 70s when he gets out.
But no parole is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Because...
But jail time, that's like 50 years.
If he survives.
I know, if he survives. And then Jason Autry, he was a star witness, but he still got major time. Now, I read this after the fact. In 2020, he was released. Mm-hmm. And they instantly put him back in jail for some kind of weapons charge.
So he's back.
They let him out and then boom. I kind of feel weird about him because if his
Shane?
story, no, Shane died. Remember, he killed himself. I get
Jason.
Shane and Jason mixed up.
Me too.
Jason, he's the rat, but if he is telling the truth,
But Dylan's a real rat, though, right?
yeah, he's like the first rat.
Jason's just different because he tried to do it like to better his circumstances.
Yeah,
Whereas Dylan just guilt.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I feel weird about Jason too.
yeah.
do too.
Because I just, if he's like the only person that gave the whole story.
And truthfully.
And truthfully, but we don't know that because he's a criminal, so we don't really know if it's the truth. And did he just get caught up in something bad, or
No.
is he just a bad guy?
I think he's a bad guy, and I think he's the smartest of them all.
Yeah. He was just like, all right, I'm in something bad. Let me just go ahead and
What's the best way to get
Get out
about
of it.
this?
yeah,
And detach myself from everything else. So, like, he also wasn't a cousin to anybody. He wasn't a brother to anybody. He, I think, is capable of doing everything that they all did, and definitely capable of all the things that he himself did. But truthfully, I think he's smarter than the rest of them.
yeah, probably. He seems to be older, like more mature, and like you said, smarter.
Yeah, probably also a more experienced criminal.
Yeah.
So,
And he had lots of family around.
yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. But he's in jail. All of them are in jail.
Again. Oh my gosh.
Don't do meth.
Don't kill people.
Don't kill people.
Don't rape people. It's just like, don't do
Just
it.
be a good human.
Right.
Keep to yourself.
It's not cool. It, like, at all. I don't understand.
I don't understand either.
Gosh, people are monsters. Drugs definitely don't help.
No.
This is a lot.
And I feel bad that we're not, like, ending on a good note because, like, the Bobos have been very just hidden since all of this. And understandably so. Like, some families, want to get out there and use their trauma to better, and some people, they just want to keep their head low and kind of try and move on. And that's how they heal. And neither one is better and neither one is right. And you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. People grieve in all different ways, and there is no right way, there's no wrong way.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do. I will say we can kind of end this on a good note because it's going to start out like it sounds like a bad note, but it's not. So her body was recovered, and there were some personal belongings, and then obviously her remains were recovered years later by ginseng hunters. Okay,
I didn't know what that was.
you asked me, and I was like, I think it's a bird. Like, I really thought no.
I thought it was, what did I think it was?
A rodent.
Yeah.
Because they were digging holes.
Because they were digging holes. It's a plant.
It's a plant. Okay, so when I went to the bathroom, I was like, okay, yes, medicinal, but like, what about it is medicinal? So, the reason they dig holes is because the medicinal part of it is the root. And it's
Ginseng root.
Yes, and it's named, they call it the man root. Because the root is shaped like a person.
Oh.
It says it has benefits for the whole body. The medicinal part is made of the dried main and lateral root and root hairs. It is good for boosting energy. It can lower blood sugar and cholesterol levels. It can reduce stress. It can promote relaxation, treat diabetes, and manage sexual dysfunction in men.
Okay. So
Amongst other things.
good for Viagra. It's good for all the things.
But natural. Which I think is a lot different than Viagra because
Yeah.
it's not natural. But overall, I think it's
if they're
just
hunters of ginseng, it's got to be a good market for it.
for sure
In West Tennessee,
No,
like-
really, part of me wants to go on my land and see if I have any, and if I could find some.
Yeah. And it could be for personal use or for selling.
Yeah. Okay, but the side effects, kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
Nervousness, insomnia. I have those naturally, so. Changes in blood pressure, breast pain, vaginal bleeding, vomiting, diarrhea, and mania. Very different from what I feel like the benefits it was like.
Yeah.
Can promote relaxation.
Pros
I guess
and
it just
cons.
depends on what your body naturally creates and how it
Or what your body needs and what it...
or what it already has enough of.
Yeah.
So
That's odd.
yeah.
I wonder what they were... If they were selling it for profit or if they were using it for personal use. The person who found her. Because they found her in this wooded area. The guy who found her, he describes like anyone who was a hunter in this area was, anytime they hunted, were also kind of looking for Holly.
Mm-hmm.
He like picked up a bucket and then all of a sudden saw this skull. Her skull was found. Then her purse was found. Her wallet was found. Her keys were found. And her promise ring was found. All in the same area.
Yeah.
That he was ginseng hunting.
Okay, and I want to know too, people listening, can someone, I mean, I'm sure I could look it up, but this will just be fun. If you know why are they referring to them as hunters? Ginseng hunters. Like, it would be a forager.
Yeah.
You would be foraging. Like, if you're hunting prey. A plant is not prey. It can't move.
Don't they call some kind of mushroom something hunter?
But like, prey moves. Prey runs. Prey is weaker than you, hides. A plant is just, a root is just in the ground. It's not prey.
Unless you have like other people hunting it. It's so pop. I don't know, because I've never heard of ginseng.
I thought it was a bird. Ooh, and then you were like, no, but they're digging in the ground. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And then I'm like, maybe it's a rodent. No, they're just digging up ginseng roots. And they're called hunters. My brother will know. I'll ask him.
Okay.
We'll see. If we find out before y'all do, we'll let you know. But if y'all know before we do, please tell us why they're referred to as hunters. And to answer your question, I think they're probably using it for personal use while also probably selling it. Because anyone who does like natural medicinal things, if they're selling it, they're usually using it as well.
That makes sense.
I think it really would probably depend on how much they find and can actually salvage.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Really
we could probably reach out to them. Just message them on Instagram like, hey, when you were hunting for a root, number one, why are you a ginseng hunter and not a ginseng forager?
Mm-hmm.
Number two, did you use it yourself or did you sell it for profit? Teach us your ways.
Yeah. Odd.
Very.
Okay.
That's all we
Leave
got.
it at that.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. We'll leave it at that. Because I don't know what else to say.
me either.
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you, and don't do math.
Don't do math. What a way to end an episode.
Our blankets made us crazy.
Oh my gosh. Until next time, we're the Expired Podcast. Woo. Birthday to me. Don't do I'm gonna pee on myself. Get early access to the Expired Podcast every Monday on our YouTube channel in loving memory of Holly Bobo.